I think the best skill you can develop, one of the most important talents if you want to run your own business, which you are getting into right now, is to recognize talent. See, I grew up with this verse in my head. It was, I think, as a young boy, that got ingrained in my forehead. And the verse said, it said, find someone who is extremely talented in what he does. He will serve before the king. The common won't understand him. Okay, now these are not the exact words, but these are the words of Solomon. And those words, when I grew reading up, I couldn't make sense of why he's saying that. I said, if someone is good, he is good, period. Right? And then I started realizing, and this is the stuff that I spoke about when I went to FICCI Hyderabad. I was talking to them, I had a 30-minute speech, and I was talking to them about my life's journey in exploring what makes geniuses different. And the first point I shared with them is I said that in my own life experience, I found out that if you're very good at something, right? Like for example, me, when I was in third year college, I was very good with open source technologies. I used to give talks in different places, and I had consulting clients all over the country. And I directly dealt with the CEO, the VP of a large organization, or sometimes the owners of mid-sized companies. And for a moment, they never asked me about my credentials or anything. See, the thing is, as soon as I walk into the door, they have that smile on their face. They have the confidence that this guy could be helping me. And then when I start speaking, it's congruent with the first opinion, impression they had about me, right? But then you meet the HR, right? And I remember I was working for this company where, so these companies were sister companies, okay? They're part of the same organization. So I was working for one of those companies, and this is just when I'd finished college. And I was taking a certain fee as a retainer fee for giving them about 4 hours a week, okay? Now, and my friends started getting into jobs, and people said it's more stable. So I said, okay, let's try that out. So I went to the sister company where, they both shared the office. It's a 3-story building. Everybody knows me there. And I go to the sister company and I meet this HR and I say, listen, I want to join your company full time. What can we do? She goes, she does some reading, I don't know what she does. She comes back and she gives me an offer for 1/4 of the salary that I was already getting for working just 4 to 6 hours a week. And then she comes back and then she tells me I have to work full time and I can't have any other job, and it's 1/4. I was a little shocked. I looked at her and I said, I hope you don't understand. I think you don't understand that I've been working in this company. They're paying me 4 times more. I have to just come for 6 hours a week. She said, but you're a fresher. You just finished college. I said, how am I a fresher? I've been solving problems your team can't solve. See, after the 20-minute conversation, I realized that she was not going to get it. So I said, okay, and I left. Now, I know the universe always supports me. It's like I think God loves me. I think just to prove to her, I think 2 weeks later, I get a job from the same organization, but this time it was the chief technology officer hiring me for twice the amount that I asked for, and just about 8 to 10 hours a week, right? So the message I told the people there in that seminar is I said, if you are very good at what you do, the people at the top will see it. The ones in the middle won't. They don't have the talent to find talent. They don't have the talent to recognize talent. And I think one of the things you can develop for yourself is the appreciation for talent, right? So I think it's an incredible gift. I think that's what made Steve Jobs who he is. He was able to find and hold talent. And sometimes talent comes in shapes and sizes that you can't recognize using academic credentials. They come in because they're unpolished sometimes. Sometimes talent comes where you don't know that person has not proven anything, but you know the person has it. And definitely, I think one aspect of charisma is who are you attracting with your charisma? Do you want to attract the people at the middle where they have a set of checklists to take, or are you attracting the people at the top who can make their own decisions, right? A crude analogy I have for you is I have a lot of women sometimes who complain to me that they're getting all kinds of unwanted attention, right? I mean, there are some women who exactly know how to get all the people they don't want in their life to come and be attracted to them. Okay, but then that kind of charisma is not going to help them, right? But then there are some women who know how not to be that way, but at the same time they get attention from the people who matter. So part of the charisma that we're talking about here is that you're going to be glowing from inside out. But remember, a common person may not necessarily have the sensory distinctions to notice that. But one thing I can assure you is that in any industry there are people who can make a difference to you. They are the influencers. They are the people who have been making difference. And I know that after this program, those people will notice you and know that you're different. And I think that's what matters, right? I mean, you have to make a choice. And I mean, if you want to attract the masses, I think this program gives you the tools to do that as well. But going back to your question as to why for you there was a difference, I think because your primary way of sorting was going through their credentials. And I'm proposing that develop another primary way of sorting if you really are interested in spotting and finding talent. You know, the beautiful thing about talent is, have you seen geniuses always being mentored by other geniuses? Yeah, it's true about Einstein, it's true about Newton. Tell me one person who's not. It's true about Steve Jobs. It's true about Bill Gates. They all have been lucky to find someone in their life who found them, right? And I think there is this particular thing that happens. I think charisma is both ways. I think one is you exhibiting it, but I also think equally important that's coming out from this discussion is you be able to recognize it when someone else is having it. Yeah.